Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Put the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. A fight inherited, no turning back, we're on our way. Tune into Eve at the end of your day. Defying the odds, she's breaking the mold. Black, beautifully blunt, Eve's story is bold. Unpopular talks, but they need to be heard. Eve's on a mission, spreading the word. Black America is fighting the oldest fight. Using her voice, shining the light. Stay ready, stay strong, that's her creed. Eve's got the wisdom, planting the seed. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Planting seeds. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Just Eve. Just Eve.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to my show. I'm Eve, and tonight I have a question. I hope you have an answer. If you don't have an answer, that's okay. Maybe we'll come to an answer together. That is the American way. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that today is January 26th, and at 7:37, I'm a little late, and I guess y'all probably already knew that was going to happen, but the way life be life and the way the country is on fire. Oh, that didn't quite give me the aesthetic I was looking for. The way the country is on fire. There it is. So many fires to be put out. Do sanctuary cities put Americans at risk? Trying not to have so many thoughts of my own without doing the appropriate research about the topic. But as I went live, I saw that y'all's favorite mayor of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he posted this like 30 minutes ago. We've received reports of ICE activity in Chicago today. Please know that Chicago police were not involved. Chicago police were not involved. He says that the team is working closely with city officials, and it's important that everyone understands their rights. Isn't it important that everyone understands their rights, everybody? Because I feel like our rights keep getting trampled on, and it is everybody else, their rights keep getting put before ours. Like, what's going on? What's sanctuary? What is it? What's a sanctuary? What's going on in America? Because you've got all these people fleeing, and I don't understand why they want to come to such conditions, right? You'll see that people get here and they've got all sorts of nasty things to say about the conditions, but it's like, well, darn, didn't you flee here? Aren't you here for the American dream? But then I guess they get here, they find that there is no dream. It is a nightmare. And because America hasn't done the one thing that would make all of the math, well, they end up with the shit end of the stick, just like us. I ask, what sanctuary? Do y'all know how many sanctuary cities there are in the country? And it's okay if you don't, because I looked it up and it said something like over 600. Actually, like my Google search gave me there are more than 170 sanctuary cities. But then when I took it to the AI, it said that there were more than 600 or approximately 600 sanctuary cities and counties in the United States. And then Well, I wanted to know what that looked like, right? Aren't you curious of what that looks like 600 or over 170? Either way, isn't that something that we would want to see for ourselves just to kind of get a picture? There's the picture. Oh, yeah, it looks a little bit like the picture with all the fire on it. I mean, this is our country. You've got the little key at the top, city, county. If it's an entire state, if the whole state is safe for a person who's not supposed to be here, I mean, that's on the map too. So, I mean, well, shout out to the people who are the data collectors of the world. Y'all get the shit out of the stick too, but sometimes y'all start fudging on the numbers and then we don't know who all is where. And if you have been paying attention to how the Democrats were running things the past 4 years, they don't know who all is here and where they are. I mean, really, they lost 300,000 or more miners in this battle to get here. And then they get here. And I mean, how did you travel thousands of miles and get past all of this, all of the obstacles, all of the, the bad things that can happen to a miner on this journey to get lost when you get here? And then dang, well, I think what they said, Trump found 75,000 of them already. What's going on in the chat? Salute to you, all the way free. And what's going on, Spirit Wonder? Crates. You hear the puppy in the background. Yeah, she's being doing a little much because the puppies love to play in the snow. And well, it's not time for playing in the snow. It's actually, well, maybe if we took all of our snow and all of the places that got snow, maybe we could have helped California out a little bit, because their people in power are saying that they don't know how to make the water appear. Not that they aren't bordered by a whole ocean. I'm not one of those scientists or engineers. I can't sit here and say that I know which river or source of water is going to be the best one to put out some fire. But I mean, if the whole state is bordering some water, what the hell is going on? I mean, really, just what's going on? It seems like mismanagement. And, well, I get it. For a little while, you had people running things who had zero plans of being there. I mean, from Kamswala to Gavin, they didn't really want to be there as much as they were there. They did some things, and then they wanted to jump ship and go run the country. But damn, California's on fire. It's almost like the country made the right decision. I've been hearing so many conversations all over the place. I mean, people you would think would be wearing the cape for people who look just like them. They speak the same language, they have the same lineage, but no, they came here the right way. And when you come here the wrong way, it just makes it like that sacrifice was null and void. They're not equating these things as much as they want everything to be equal. But sanctuary cities, I wonder, is it all that it's dished up to be, or is it something else? I mean, Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore, he's got some words. And look, I know I might pick on him a little bit tonight, but he is not the only one.
Meantime, nothing changes for the city and its police force. Scott says the focus remains on crime prevention.
I will not be directing my police officers to not focus on taking guns off the street, taking murders off the street, preventing robberies, preventing carjackers, to simply just go after someone who's an immigrant. If that person is a criminal, then they are already a part of that focus for us.
And this is where I'm going to have to call Cap, because a lot of the people that we're talking about are already breaking the law. Like, you guys, what is going on? Why are we having such moments where the maths, but then the outcome, it's very strange. you break the law, you have a consequence. I mean, if anybody knows that, it's Black America. But then you've got these people who even share the lineage and don't even understand that they are putting America at risk with their big heart, with their bleeding hearts. I I don't know. Maybe some of them are already on their way out. A lot of people participated in some experiments, and well, shout out to Joe, right? Because he's been pardoning all sorts of criminals. And to the people who wondered why a certain person who rhymes with slouchy got pardoned, even though there's been no crimes reported against him. Well, I guess when people start dropping more than they've been dropping, y'all might start equating things and the math starts to math. But in these places that America or Americans are having to deal with people who aren't from here, and then you've got the people in power saying, yeah, I mean, I feel you, but they're not doing anything wrong. What? I heard some confused person on some channel. It might have been Roland's, it might have been someone else's, but they were talking about how they pay taxes. What illegal is paying taxes? I mean, if you buy something, you paid some sales tax, but aren't we all? Isn't that? I'm sorry. It's just so confusing to come from a people who learned for all of these years in school. We learned about the Boston Tea Party. We learned about the American Revolution. We learned about, we're not going to do these things because we're not going to subject our people to these things. And now in 2025, not only have we been subjected to these things, but we're asking for it. I mean, we're asking for more. And I say we, just the universal we, because not I, and maybe not you, but look at where we are. America is on flame right now. And it took a racist and another racist who was married to an Indian, and I guess a racist who's married to an Asian, to get into the White House and start putting these fires out. What the hell is going on in America? I had Sunday school earlier today, and I was talking to the students about just the hypocrisy of it all. When are we going to stop doing things that don't make sense and maybe start doing the things that do make sense? Sanctuary cities. If you ever ask your AI, your chat GPT, your co-pilot, whatever it is, you ever ask them about the sanctuary cities, they'll give you some response about how they are not divided on the party lines. But then you dig a little deeper and you find that, well, most of them are in Democratic leaning states. And while there are some Republican leaning, I'm having a tongue-tied moment right now, but some places are turning red, shout out to Chicago, but still a Democratic leaning state and area. So not Chicago a state, but just Illinois, and then the state and the city. So you can look at the map and see how it's not quite purple, but the red, oh, there is a lot more red than it used to be. And just like that map that's on your screen right now, it's a lot of flames. It's a lot of things on fire. And I just wonder if maybe these black faces in high places know exactly what they're doing. When you talk about the code, you talk about Mr. Neely Fuller, and you talk about how nobody is benefiting unless you look like them. And then you find that here in this country specifically, they don't even give a shit about the people who look like them. Well, who's supposed to do something about it? I mean, when you put apples to oranges, one of them is an apple and one of them is an orange, and they're not going to be able to do the same thing as much as they kind of can both make fruit drinks, right? You got apple juice and you got orange juice, but is it going to do the same thing? I find that we're in a time where you have to understand who is friendly, who is on your side, and then who's not on your side. Friend, family, foe, Do we know the difference between them, or are we just people who've been so oppressed and subjugated that we don't really give a damn who it is as much as if it sounds good and if it looks good, then that's what we're going to do? Because haven't y'all been played enough? I mean, they literally told a lot of America who was old enough to vote for this man that Bill Clinton was the first black president because he smoked a couple cigarettes, he got some head in the White House, and he could play the saxophone. Never mind the fact that a lot of them same niggas went to jail for life for good. Oh shit, where's my Umar clip? Oh, that would have been a really good, perfectly timed clip, but the moment's gone. Anyway, some of you niggas went to jail for good, and you asked for it. I mean, when he was out of office, he said as much. Y'all asked for 3 strikes. Yep. I just did what them nigga preachers wanted me to do. Well, maybe them nigga preachers was not on your side. Maybe if you listen to a person like Dr. Winters, you'd find that, that the black church has never been for black people, and it's always been a place where infiltration and division is the way of life. I mean, I'm doing better than them niggas, and I give more than them niggas, so surely my blessings will be bigger than them niggas. And if you look at how I'm living, you can see it, right? Sanctuary cities have some of the most craziest crimes being reported. I mean, really, there was that one woman who was eating a cat. Y'all, I'm talking about the Votets. Y'all tried to make Trump feel bad about saying they was eating the cats and they was eating the dogs. And then there's a whole woman on camera for the Springfield police with cat in her teeth. What? They try to say that she was a black American. And this is my problem because, when we use these racial identifiers, while it is ours, don't get me wrong, we're going to have to be a little bit more specific. We said cut the check, and then they cut the check. We have to be more specific. Do sanctuary cities put Americans at risk? Yes. But has America allowed people to become Americans who don't fuck with us? Yes. And then you wonder, scratch that. Then you stop wondering why these places don't help the Americans that they're supposed to help. No, they're supposed to be a tether for the tethers, of course, because you get to one of these cities that's run by one of these people and you find that, well, you can get into a car accident and not have to go to jail or pay a fine, or you can get a DUI, a DWI, and go to court and just show the court that you've started some driving classes, and that's okay. You can be in one of these cities and know that the mayor is not going to help the federal officers do their job to keep the country safe, the country that their city exists in. What the fuck is going on in America? It's on fire. All the way for your right, they've been talking about climate change, but they weren't talking about the climate the way that they should have been talking about the climate, because the same way that Joe Biden in 2020 told those black faces in high places, you niggas is gonna have to learn Espanol. They probably should have been talking about these things earlier. I mean, the name of the game is to replace the permanent working class, the permanent underclass, with a group of people who don't have the same connection. When you replace the permanent underclass with people who don't connect with slavery the same way, well, now you don't have to pay reparations. Because who are you paying it to? Them niggas don't exist anymore. And not that we don't exist anymore, because obviously we're always going to be here, but in what way? If you don't know who you are, then they're not going to pay you. Why would they? They don't have to. You'll be happy with Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. You'll be happy with a flyer that has Dr. King on it with some grills because, well, the FBI in 2025 put out that he liked to have sex with people and he smoked a couple Newports. And Never mind the fact that the FBI was also telling him to kill himself and, you don't deserve to be out here and, stop talking to them people about things that make sense. I mean, fake news, not fake news. Who are we to believe? I'm not here to tell you how to feel, but I do urge and request that you start asking some questions, because when you don't ask questions, things start to slip through the cracks. In my heart of hearts, in my black heart, of course, I really think that a lot of the black people who've been voting blue all of their lives, they wouldn't have done that if they knew the ramifications, like if they really knew. But they don't ask questions. They get told or sold a bill of lies. And because, well, why would they do that? I mean, we're out of slavery times and there's good white people out here. And I know a good white person. And so if I know a good white person, that good white person's voting for this person, and well, shit, I'm going to vote for that white person. I mean, come on. Aren't we past that? And if we are past that, then maybe a lot of these places that were blue that have turned red will hold these politicians accountable the same way. Because you can't just jump to the other side of the fence and expect things to just be good. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is green where you water that bitch. And since they have not been giving us any water, not California, not Texas, and I don't know the other places that's on fire, because there's a bunch of places on fire. And I actually mean like wildfire fires, not just the immigration thing on fire, just in general. They've been withholding resources. God damn it, Flint still has dirty water. And that nigga Barack Obama said that the water was fine and then drank something. And I don't know what kind of shots he had after the fact, but I know that nigga was not drinking the water without taking something for that water. You can't cook your food or take a bath in some of our cities, but you can come from a place that has no running water and get resources? What sanctuary? Look, before we went live tonight, my husband was showing me a video of some church pastors trying to stop ICE. What? You can stop ICE, but you can't stop Dylan Roof? What is going on? Or is it that Dylan Roof has made you more aware of your surroundings that you want to get all froggy now? Because your churchgoers do what? They pay tithes? You better... I was about to say something that even I would have considered sacrilegious, and I mean, I didn't. So shout out to me. But I'm just saying, what sanctuary? You go to the black church, you find that they giving resources, free backpacks and food, lunches and gift boxes to niggas who don't even speak English because they're brown and they're there filling the seats. You know why they're able to fill the seats? Because Black America has said, fuck that shit. And not that we're not religious or spiritual, but just the system is fucked and we've moved away from it. But these entities still exist, so they're going to have to do something about it. We are going to have to do something about it, or let it burn. When things burn, there's something to be said about what rises from the ashes. And, if you're scared, just say that. Today on Twitter, on X, I don't want to say that I was having an argument, but I will say that this person, North Numpsa Taco with all these flags, talking about undeportable with quotes, and then, the clip of Toby. I don't know if it's playing in the background. YouTube, this is for educational purposes. Y'all ain't paying me shit anyway, so please don't flag this if the audio... Oh, y'all can't even see it. There you go. YouTube can't flag me for it because it wasn't even playing.
Don't...
It was playing.
Toby way. Toby be good for your hand, boss. Good.
So, this is the confused folk out here saying that, if we say that we're undeportable, it's because we want to stay over here with massive. All of this conversation with this doofus on Twitter was revolving around the fact that I identify as an American. I identify as a pre-American, prehistoric American. We're in delineation era, and we've decided that foundational is pretty strong. And the people who don't like it, I get why you don't like it, but if you don't want to win, just say that. Because it's not going to take we don't all have to call ourselves the same thing as much as we do have to all have some understandings about some things. Black as an identifier for our resources and reparations and tangibles, it's already been co-opted. Racial identifiers, if you listen to Mr. Fuller, it's already a game that's been lost because the people who made it up made it so. If you ain't white, you lose. Period. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. We get rid of race, then we can have a conversation. And since we can't really get rid of race, why can't we identify as our ethnicity, our lineage, our direct ancestors going back 400 years? If you can. But maybe some of you can't. And maybe you can't because your people knew that you was going to come across a time where paperwork was about to be checked. You don't have appropriate paperwork. It's just like them Africans in Canada. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about? Let me get it for you. Just like them Africans. Sorry, I don't know if they would. No, yeah, I was about to say they're not Africans. They were from Nigeria.
Have a valid visa currently for the. At this point, you are in the United States of America. Does anybody have a valid visa currently for the United States, even if it expires soon?
Yes.
Yes. Are you aware that the very minute you cross this border, your status in the United States is nullified?
Yes.
Okay. Have you started a refugee claim in the United States?
No.
Is there a reason why you have not?
What?
Is there a reason why you're choosing not to do a refugee claim status in the United States, as opposed to traveling to Canada to do the very same thing?
Yeah, you must hear from us first.
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
Do you know that there is a legal port not 3 kilometers from here where you can enter the country legally through the channels that are established? Yes? This is not a legal port of entry. This is an illegal point. This is not a way to
we know.
Yes, we
Okay.
know.
Okay. Is the reason why you're choosing here as opposed to trying to go through the channels like everybody else that does?
No, we want to go through this one right here.
Okay, so you're aware that by crossing here, you're committing an illegal act.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure that you want the beginning of your life in Canada to start with an
Yes.
illegal
Yes.
act?
Future in Canada.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
But you can start that same
I
future in
want
Canada
this.
at
Yeah.
the legal
We
court.
want this place.
Why
Yes.
Why?
Because
Why
I
not
want-
the legal way?
Because I want to go to Canada because I believe I can make it, and this is how I can handle Canada because I don't have.
Y'all, they taken their dreams. It's like they heard Dr. King talk about a dream. They said, oh, I got some dreams. And then, Tom came and Tom said, oh, it's not a dream. Oh, I got something for them dreams.
I don't have the legal.
Do you have any family in Canada?
I don't
No.
have no.
Do you have any family in
No.
Canada? Are you planning to claim refugee status in Canada?
Refugee. Yes, please.
Yes.
Where are we coming from? Which countries?
Sorry,
Which countries?
Nigeria.
Okay. Are you aware that should your refugee class status be refused through Immigration Canada, you will be returned not to the United States, but in fact to your home country of
I
Nigeria?
understand
Yes.
that.
So you may be refused that either way, correct? You're aware of that? The difference is, and I want to be clear though, the difference is if you're refused here, you're returned directly to Nigeria. However, since you have legal status in the United States, if you're refused there, you're returned to the United States.
No.
Now, I just caught this right now, and I've watched this video about 28 times today. But right there, what she just said.
I want to be clear though. The difference is if you refuse here, you're returned directly to Nigeria. However, since you have legal status in the
Since you have legal status in the United States,
if you refuse there, you're returned to the United States.
No.
you return to the United States. They said earlier that they had legal status in the United States and they just crossing over into Canada. Just like, if you were on a hike in, I don't know, one of them states that connect to Canada and you just, oh shit, now I'm in Canada. I mean, if you look at where they are, it's a freaking fence. And it's like one of those fences that they use at concerts. It doesn't have any barbs. It doesn't have any electric. It is unmanned for the most part. I mean, there is that woman there. She is asking them questions. It is on camera. But why don't they want to come back to the States?
We want Canada here. We want Canada here. We are saving Canada.
Yeah. Just because you come here doesn't mean you get to stay.
Yes.
Clear. You understand what it is?
Yes. We understand that. And we believe in this.
Yes. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
We just want to come in. That's it.
No.
Please.
For the fact that we believe in Canada, that Canada can solve our problem. That's why we are here.
We are saving
And we don't have any other choice to go back.
Our mind is made up. We want to come into Canada.
Because we know Canada can save our life illegally. That's the way we're here right now. We understand everything you just said right now. And that is what we want right now. We want to come in
I'm just
illegally.
trying to understand why it is that you want to start your lives in Canada by an illegal act, rather than doing what everybody else who also wants to start their life.
Now, you guys, this man walking up, I don't know if he is also an illegal or, again, if he is just a person who was hiking or what, because the way he bypasses all of the shenanigans going on right here, it's American, but also maybe it's European. I don't know. It's just,
Life in Canada is doing it illegally. Why is it that you think that you can supersede the system?
Okay.
Do it illegally while everybody else still is choosing to do it legally.
I don't want to go through it legally. I want to come in legally. Because right now I understand I'm illegal if I go through this court. That is why. And I want to just go it. I want to follow my heart. Okay, I will do my I got to put.
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. He just kind of walked through like he just knew he was okay. And that was given a little bit different vibe than the other people who were, I guess, paused in their footsteps. Maybe that van pulling up and then dropping all them people off at the border is what sounded the alarm. Maybe if they had just walked up on foot like he did, I don't know. But the way that they just follow his lead just kind of looks like how people be doing. They follow our lead and then they get access. It's like, damn. And for them to be legally here, they don't want to come back here. What's going on? But that brings me to another point, because people keep saying that the people who come here searching for a better life are not breaking the law as much as they are breaking the law on not following the law. I'm talking about how they got here part of the law, right? Because it's layered and leveled, and you've got people fleeing war, you've got people fleeing all sorts of physical abuse and sexual abuse, and I mean it can seem very scary, especially if you've never had to fight for anything. If you was always given something, like how they tried to give Black America African American, and then most of us said we ain't never been to Africa, so we feel you, but no, thank you, try again. And then, well, now we are here in the try again time, and people are like, I don't like the power that comes with naming myself. I'd rather just be called what they've been calling us, because well, I'm comfortable here and I get it. You know, some of y'all are not fit to fight, and that's okay. But some of y'all are not fit to speak. And then it's like, well, I get why sometimes people grab the mic.
Hey, when it comes to this deportation shit, I got mixed feelings, man, because I do got a heart. Like I feel bad for the kids, and I feel bad for the people who came over here with honest intentions.
Hey Wes, so I had to stitch you because I feel my voice is very important in this whole illegal migrants deportation conversation. Obviously, I immigrated here in 2013. I had a green card. I waited 8 months for my green card, and I'll tell you why. It is because Obama was in power at the time and he had given priority to DACA. As you know, DACA are the children of illegals. We literally were put on hold, us legal immigrants applying the right way and paying our fees were put on hold for those guys to be processed, which to me is just playing the system. That's what it is. I'm going to come here illegally and I'll have a child, and then by birthright, which is why I'm so happy Trump is getting rid of that, they're going to be citizens. And then they can petition.
Birthright, birthright. What does that sound like? Oh, that's that 14th Amendment that everybody keeps saying that is for everybody, but it's not for everybody. Everybody listening to my voice live or recorded, look it up yourself. I mean, honestly, I'm tired of reading the shit because it's so plain. The language is plain. I mean, the language of the Constitution is so plain that everybody knew that they did not include us. That's how plain the shit is. So for people to act like with their big brains and their college education or their internet education or their jailhouse education or wherever the fuck they got educated, they can't understand that the 14th Amendment was for a specific group of people, period. But then it did kind of leave room for whatever you want it to mean. But because it isn't whatever you want it to mean, it's going to be up to the people who are upholding the law to follow the law or change the law. Look, I've never been a person who's been against legal migration. I do think that we've been a little lax and a little bit more comfortable with our borders, a little more relaxed, if you will. But the fact that we had a process, you know, if you follow the process, who am I to say that that's wrong? I mean, outside of shit, they haven't quite cut the check for us. So if you get here and you find that if you look like a nigga, then they treat you like a nigga, you know, the math ain't gonna math for you, but it definitely maths for me. Outside of that understanding, I mean, really, you followed the rules and you did it the right way. I have no issues there. However,
For me, there are twisted ways, but let me tell you how it affects people trying to come in the right way. One, it delays your process unfairly. Two, it marks your country among the countries with red flags on them that you should be over scrutinized when you're trying to get a green card. In the 90s, a lot of Kenyans and other countries would play the system. They would marry out of convenience, right? Get to the States, get a divorce immediately, right after they got citizenship. The USCIS caught on to that. So guess what that did for us? It delayed our process, and it adds one more step which costs more money because of those people who messed up the first time. That's why, to be honest, I don't feel bad for people getting deported. Like Tom Homan said, they don't have to be separated, they can be deported together. Who said you have to be left behind? If you want to leave your child behind, that's on you. You should all go. All of you go. You have a country where your country of origin, right? Go back there. I feel zero sympathy for people who have literally broken the law to come to the United States. And then to make things worse, there are states, the sanctuary cities, which let's call it what it is, they're just harboring fugitives, right? They protect these people. I'm looking at you, New York. I'm looking at you, California. I'm looking at you, Boston. They hide these illegals, and then guess what? They use taxpayer funds to put them up and pay for their care and pay for their upkeep. Oh, let me add this. As a green card holder, I was not allowed to get any government assistance. That's one of the things you sign when you're applying for a petition to become an American resident, permanent resident, aka green card holder. You have to sign somewhere you're going to say, I shall not become a burden to the US government. So tell me why the hell illegals are getting government aid. when even a legal permanent resident cannot. I paid over $10,000 to become a legal American citizen. I'm talking biometrics, the flight, the tests. Oh, also I had to have a clean certificate of good conduct from the Kenya police to be even allowed to schedule an interview at the US Embassy. So because of all those reasons, I feel zero sympathy for people getting deported. Because guess what? No one gets to sneak around the system and come in the wrong way and then get to stay. Well, there are people like me who have to go through the right way and pay all the money in the world just to chase the American dream. I'm very passionate about this subject. I just want to give you some insights so that you can understand why some of us just are just like, woo! Take him out!
That's my favorite part of the video, when she's all, woo! Because, man, I mean, if people can do it the right way, then people can do it the right way. It's almost like we're having the same conversation about, I don't know, good cop, bad cop. You know, if you know what to do when the victim looks like this, then you know what to do when the victim looks like that. But somehow, some way, when the victim looks like me, well, the cop can shoot me, and then, oh, that's the wrong person, but I'm not going to get CPR or any type of life-saving measurements. Or you can see them doing all sorts of bad things, but you and with your big badge and your big gun, you're not going to do anything about them other people because, well, they just need some extra training. They had the same training as you, yet you know better and they don't know better. I don't know. I think that everybody knows, especially now, especially in 2025 and all the way free. Look, saying things like that, I'm gonna have to show everybody what you said. The 14th Amendment applies to the whole globe. No, it does not. And the fact that you've got people who will fight this one thing, I guess, is the reason that you're making me show what it says. The 14th Amendment text, straight from the Constitution. This is not my words. This is their words. Here it is. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's the part that gets everybody in a tizzy. It's an and, not an and or, an and. And what does that mean? I guess it's the educator in me who wants y'all to know that these conjunctions, they bring things together like butt cheeks. That means that it's not separated from, that it is inclusive of. You can't have one without the other. Like, have you ever seen somebody with one butt cheek? I mean, maybe they exist, but it's not the norm. And since it's not the norm, we're just going to continue for all of these people that I just talked about and subject to the jurisdiction of are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. So, and then this part, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. Sounds straight up like every sanctuary city has broken this part of the law. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. You know, in cities like Baltimore and Chicago, where you've got these illegals running wild, and then the people of the city are like, where is our taxpayer money going? These taxes that they keep saying that these illegals are paying, where is the money going? But then you find that it's going to house these people who are not supposed to be here, to feed these people who are not supposed to be here. And check it, the woman just told you, when you come here the right way, not only do you have to have a clean bill of health, we're not trying to take lots of diseases. I mean, really, Ellis Island, they was spraying for lice and tuberculosis and scabies and all sorts of things. They tried. They tried. Okay. No, you got to have a clean bill of good peopling. The police have to say, yeah, this person isn't a problem here. But then the borders can be open and millions, you know, it was bigly the population grew of people who are not supposed to be here. And, well, do you know that Colombia was like, I don't want to take these people back, these Colombians? And then, well, Y'all's favorite president, not favorite president, said, okay, well, if that's how you feel, well, how about a tariff? And then in a week, how about another tariff? And, well, y'all don't have to believe me. Look it up yourself. It looks like Colombia's singing a different tune. Y'all can call him the boogeyman if you want. I mean, if that's what is needed to get the job done, so be it. It's not my mess. I'm not really too worried about it because we've always been able to do things. People are angry about DEI being overturned or taken away in the same way that they were mad about affirmative action being taken away from these schools. But the people benefiting from it don't look like me. And I guess the puppy is trying to let y'all know that people shouldn't talk so much. So before I say too much, did y'all get to an answer? Do sanctuary cities put Americans at risk? Because the math, it maths. When you think about why they don't want you to succeed. And I don't just mean Black America. No, I mean America. The system that we live in is not designed for anybody to win, as much as everybody is supposed to think that they're doing something that makes sense. And if everybody's doing something different, well, hold on to your horses. You know, sanctuary cities put officers at risk because they're not cooperating, which it increases the amount of altercations. If everybody did what they were supposed to do, these things would be seamless, like how traffic is supposed to move. But then you find that you've got people who are from areas that not only do they not have stoplights, shout out to Lewis Latimer, the foundational Black American who invented the stoplight, but they don't even have pavement. Okay, so maybe they come from a little bit more developed area, but still, y'all driving on the wrong side of the road. Then you come over here and traffic is all fucked up. Don't get me started. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was about to have a moment because the way these people operate outside of the law and then they get benefits, it's almost like they're not breaking the law being here. And if they're not breaking the law being here, well, then the laws need to change. Things are going to have to be done a little bit differently if we want to continue to be here the way that we've been here. But maybe you guys want something different. I mean, I know I want something different, but then I find that maybe a lot of y'all don't want to do the work. And that's okay, because if you're scared, say that. But I'm not scared. I mean, I don't like the fact that the country's on fire, but I do know that my square, we've got some fire protections here, and every day is an opportunity to solidify your square. But maybe you're in a place where the people around you don't give a damn anymore. And that's kind of a gift and a curse, because it means that you have the power to change the things in your area. So it's not all bleak. It's not all bad. Things blossom when given the opportunity to let the bad shit burn out. But I guess we're going to have to get a little comfortable being uncomfortable, and the math will start to math.